Hi, and welcome back to The Friendly Fox. As you know, we normally do sewing videos on the channel. Sometimes we have some craft and some upholstery, but I found that I'm out of soap right now, and I have been making soap for years and years. And I normally gift it to my friends and family. And when I realized that I was out today, I thought, I'm going to share my recipe with you all. This is what my soap normally looks like when I'm finished. This is done without colorants, but I am going to use some colors today and show you how to make soap with color and with fragrances. So let's get started. When you're using sodium hydroxide, which is the lye that you make soap with, you have to be very careful. It can burn your skin. If an animal ingests it, it can burn their esophagus, or a child. You have to be very careful with the lye. I store mine in my basement when I'm not using it, and when I am using it, I'm very, very careful with it. You're also using hot oil, so you've got to be careful with that. I always wear long sleeves so that I don't get burned, and I always wear my safety glasses. So make sure that you're wearing safety equipment when you go ahead and make soap. So we're going to start with olive oil. 20 grams of olive oil. I measure everything. I just get my olive oil from Costco. Costco has a really nice olive oil that's pure, 100% Italian extra virgin olive oil. The color on it is a little bit dark, and that's why my soap has a little bit of a yellow tinge to it, because the color of this is a little bit darker. So if you like a light colored soap, you might want to shop around. Then I also add in shea butter. I've already measured this. This is coconut oil. I've already weighed this out. Then I also add in apricot oil, some jojoba, and some vitamin E for a total of 8 ounces. This just adds an extra softness. You never want to skimp on your coconut oil, because that's what gives the lather to the soap. Be generous with your coconut oil. And if you're going to cut back on anything, make it these oils or the olive oil. Don't ever skimp on coconut oil. I'm going to go heat that up on the stove. Okay. The water goes in first, distilled water, doesn't matter the temperature. Now the lye is the dangerous part, and so I'm going to put this in and then give it a stir, and then it has to go outside because it creates a fume, and let it do its thing. It gets very, very hot while it's dissolving in the water. So when you're using lye, you can't use a metal container. You can use glass or you can use plastic, but don't use metal. You can already see it heating up. So now that I feel that it's properly dissolving, I'm going to put it outside for a few minutes. So right now, the lye is sitting outside and it's very hot. It's probably in the 200-degree range. The oil is heating up, and those two things have to come to the same temperature together, around 100. So we're just going to take a minute here and let the oil come to 100 and let the lye come to 100. So the oil right now is sitting at about 140 degrees. And the lye is sitting at about 145 degrees. But we can't blend them together till they come down to about 100. So we'll just keep waiting. So my temperatures have come together around 100. And I'm going to go ahead and blend these together now. I have a rule that anything that becomes something I use for soap never goes back into the kitchen to be used for food. And now the oil's in here. I like to pour the oil in first and then put the lye into the oil product. I don't know any other way to do this. A stick blender, it has to be beat at a very high speed. And a stick blender is the only way I know to get the speed that you need. It has to go till you see something like, it's called trace, and it's where, like whipped cream, it sort of leaves if you pull it out, it sort of leaves the form of itself. It takes about 5 minutes to get to trace. We are approaching trace. I think you can see in there, as I draw the blender through, it's a little bit thinner than pancake batter, but certainly thicker than just a straight water liquid. So now, because I've been asked to do a pink and white soap, I'm going to split my two vessels here. Good. And just split them about half and half. When you put the colorant in, you have to use the stick blender again to get it whipped through. So here's the white. And because this is a dark olive oil, I'm never going to be able to get it white, but this will help to lighten it up. And then I'm going to do pink into this other vessel. You can't really do a recipe for how much colorant to put in there, because it's kind of an eyeball thing. It depends on how much you've got in here. If I had poured just a little bit into this other vessel, I would have to use more or less. So it's kind of an eyeball thing. Remember, when you're doing it, don't go from dark to light, because you're going to introduce the pink to the white. So you want to go from the light to the colored stuff. So we're going to start over here. And I've got my wood surface covered because I don't want anything to stain the wood. We're going to need a whole lot more color. Certainly not the pink I'm looking for. Oh, good. Okay, now I'm going to put the fragrance in. I've decided to go with a rose, lang lang, and vanilla mix. So again, this is sort of you're going to put in probably 5 grams altogether. And now I'm just going to pour it into these molds. Just mixing the colors. You just want to mix them a little bit. If you get in there and stir too much, you're just going to turn it into a big pink, gloppy, white mess. But if you do it sort of not too much, but enough to bring the colors together, you'll get them interacting with each other, but not completely blended like chocolate milk. More like a root beer float. The longer you let soap sit, the drier it becomes, and the longer it will last in the sink or in the shower or whatever you're going to use it for. This takes a little while for the lye to turn the oils into soap. Soap can't be used for a couple of weeks. And again, the longer you let it sit, the better. So I like to let mine sit about a month. I've used safflower oil, I've used honey, I've used oatmeal, I've used coffee grounds. There's all kinds of things you can do with soap that are fun and creative. And now the soap gets really warm right now. And so you want to just let it sit. And you want it to cool down slowly. So that's another reason I work on a towel. I bang it just to get all the air bubbles out. I will sometimes spritz it with witch hazel on the top to prevent it from becoming ashy. I'm going to let it sit right now and let it solidify a little bit, maybe in about an hour. And then I'll come and put the towel over top of it. If I put the towel on it now, it's just going to turn into a big gloppy mess on my towel. But if I just let it sit for about an hour till it solidifies just a tad, and then I can come back in here and cover it with a towel so that it can diffuse the heat slowly, it'll be ready to go. So thanks for joining me.